and welcome to the Love MEESH Podcast. I am your host, Meesh. There are a billion people in the world, and I'm just one of them. And welcome to my podcast, where I'll share my thoughts, opinions, and ramblings, and sometimes I'll have guests, and no subject is off limits. So let the conversation begin. Mimi, go Mimi. It's the MEESH Podcast. Hey, go me, go Mimi. Hey loves, welcome to another episode of Love MEESH Podcast. This is part 2. We're going to keep it going with, remember I said I was going to let you hear my best friend, Divine Akavu. I cannot even say it right. Let me not do that. Divine, let's see, Akuwavi Yemeya. And you can check out her podcast. I'm going to give her a little expert on how she feels about the COVID, in which I agree. And also, let me tell you how the internet is. This lady feels and dreams. I kept trying to upload her. Okay, so this podcast thing ain't easy. So what I have to do is I have to get the clip from social media and screen record it. Get out, Luna! No. I said no. Now, I bought her a scratchy thing for her nails, and she getting on my yoga thing, messing up the leather. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so this podcast thing isn't as easy as you think. So I have to screen record whatever I find on social media, if it's like a video. And then I have to use this app to like convert it from video to just audio for the podcast. And this app is called Media Convert, and it's free. And I'm so thankful that I found it. And when I download it to Media Convert, then I have to use that app to convert it to an MP4A so that it could go onto the podcast Anchor. So I'm up here trying to download it, it won't download it. I'm looking at it on Instagram. Now it's saying that it's false information, like all this other stuff. Like it just do not want me to let y'all hear. So guess what I'm going to do? Luna, she going to scratch my toe. You better stop. If this is a taste of motherhood, oh my God. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it on the iPad, and I'm going to just record it directly onto the app. So the quality and all that stuff might not be the best because of how I'm having to do it. And I apologize, but this is like pissing me off. It's like, we have freedom of speech. You can't silence us. People are going to believe what they want to believe anyway. And if you are so strong and confident in what you're saying is right over what anyone else has to say, you wouldn't care. If I say the sky's blue, you could say it's red, yellow, green, orange. I don't give a fuck. Fine. At some point, I'm not even going to argue with you anymore. I'm just going to say K or okay and go on about my business. Because from my point of view, I feel like it's blue and it is what it is. So yeah, let me go ahead and push play. And again, sorry about the quality, but there's some really great info here. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure my somebody was calling, and so it interrupted the recording. So we're going to try this again. So this is Feels and Dreams. I'm speaking with Dr. Bradley Campbell. And it's about 18 minutes long, but it has some really important information. Once again, I'm not a teacher. I am a sharer. I just love learning information and sharing. And the wonderful thing about learning is just because you know something, it doesn't mean that you believe it. You can just, if you're having a conversation and someone brings this topic up, you can say, I've heard of that. Not necessarily that I believe that. If you get the vaccine, great. If you don't, great. I mean, you have free will. Please exercise that. But a lot of the times we make uneducated decisions or decisions without enough research. And maybe that's just something that again, it's probably just my journey, and I never want to push, my life path on anyone else's, because once again, no one can ever make me do anything outside of what I want to do. And so I never want to put that on anyone else. So I will always say, sharing is caring. That's my motto. I just love learning. And it baffles me that some of the most important things are like hidden. Like, it's almost sneaky. Like, if the mass population knew this, they would definitely make a different decision. And I don't like that. I don't like that sneakiness. Like, and how to say, spare my feelings with a lie. Nah, give me the truth straight, no chaser, and that way I can make a decision knowing all the facts. So, for example, if you cheated on me and you hide it, oh, I'm loving you, my man's amazing, da da da, because I don't know what the fuck. But if you're honest and you're like, dang, I messed up, this, that, other, now I have to make a decision. Okay, he's human, I'm gonna forgive him, we're gonna move on. Or thank you for telling me, but no, this is not what I want to do. I'm gonna choose to exit stage left. But give me that option. Let me choose. Don't choose for me. Like, oh, maybe that's just my pet peeve in life. But once again, I'm gonna let y'all listen to the 18-minute clip from Fields and Dreams and Dr. Bradley Campbell. And if you try to look her up on Instagram, it may be there, but they taking this shit down left and right. And for us to have so much freedom of speech, again, that baffles me too. So let me go ahead and push play. And sorry about the sound or whatever, because I have to just do it this way because, you know, they tripping.
So I am going to... Hi. Hi.
Oh, there we go. Nice. Hey,
Okay, let's
trying to
on here, but
trying to find good cell service here.
that's all right. Okay. Am I a little bit choppy?
You're a little bit
All right.
choppy.
That's okay.
And let's see if people can hear it.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now.
Lindy. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to jump on. Thanks for joining me. I know that you have been one of the doctors who's been comfortable actually talking about this interesting phenomenon with women noticing dramatic changes in their cycles, and the craziest thing being it's the women who have not yet gotten the shot. So I wanted to hear your perspective a little bit, what you know, and then maybe we can answer some of the questions that we're seeing from a lot of people out there who are actually pretty concerned about this. So what do you think's going on?
What I think is happening is that the best scientific guess I have is that the secretory IgA antibodies that people are making against the spike protein and the receptor binding domain, the RBD and the spike protein, is actually coming out of their saliva, their skin, their mucous membranes, like vaginally or I guess anally too. Basically anything sinus, gut, skin, saliva could be spreading the antibodies. We don't yet know if it's actually spreading the spike protein, but even the antibody is enough to basically attack like 20 to 30 types of your tissue, according to Dr. Tenpenny. So it's like the anti-spike antibody, which can be why people are having crazy autoimmune reactions. So it could be the antibodies that are spreading, not necessarily the spike protein itself. We don't have enough data disproving that the spike protein is shedding, but I think for sure the antibodies could be shedding. I actually just got word from the person who runs COVID jab reactions.
Yeah.
They sent me a link that I just put on my story with like a swipe up that talks about it. It's a preprint article from like Rivex or whatever, but there's a couple things on there that'll have like the links if you want to go check it out.
Yeah. I got that. Like how
you're cutting out for me. I can't hear you super well.
Sorry. Okay. talk about, if you can hear me, what we can do as women if we notice things are getting a little bit weird.
Yeah. What people can do, I have the long, 10-minute video on my page as far as, top 10 things to do, but basically, you just care of your overall health. You basically, sleep well, eat well, get movement and exercise. You can support your thyroid and adrenal and hormonal system. You can support your liver and do a detox to help, detoxify estrogen and other hormones. You can work on your stress level and meditate or reflect or however you like to pray or have self-reflection time. The other thing that's really helpful is actually grounding and earthing. So touching physical dirt or the ground with your feet or something that's not, excuse me, slightly allergic to the food that they're serving at this event. So they're, you can be actually touching the grounding and earthing and touching trees or getting it in nature actually has negative ions and things that help ground you and are anti-inflammatory and help reset your cycle or your period. The other thing is getting up for sunrise or sunset and watching either the moon or the stars or the sun and getting that stimulation into your brain for your natural melatonin response is also really helpful to start to reset your period naturally.
Yeah, so I want to remind people that are just from my page that they can go to your page and you dive into this in a couple different videos. So I'll send the link to your videos on that subject. And then also the same goes for people for men and for children too, right? The same general advice to try to help us maybe not proactively protect ourselves from anything that could be coming in because we really just don't know, right?
Yep. Yeah, we don't know. Someone's saying, could it do with pheromones or resonance theory? Yes, it could, because women also sync up with other people, and there's mirror neurons in your brain that are basically responsible for empathy and sympathy. So when someone else is feeling a certain way, whether you're aware of it or not, you start to resonate and feel the same way as them. It's if two people walk in the same room, over time, if they like each other, their heart rates start to sync up, whether it's your dog, your cat, or your partner, your heart rate will start to actually sync up. And if it doesn't, you tend to move away from that person. So we're all in resonance with each other, whether it's your heart rate or whether it's your pheromones or whatever it is. So even if it's not a physical, mechanical spike protein shedding or the secretory IgA or an antibody against the spike protein or receptor binding domain, there's still actual resonance theory that could explain all of this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that that's something that I want to make sure that people understand is to just kind of listen when they're trying to tell us something. So really trying to get in tune and listen to our bodies so that we can notice when things are kind of off kilter and try to figure out why. Because it could be anything from food or it could be the people that you associate with. So one thing that I'm getting all the time is, what are people supposed to do when they can't avoid being around people who are fully vaccinated? Should they be afraid? People are really afraid suddenly of the vaccine. This turns for us, and especially for parents, and then also for their children. I have two daughters. Their teacher just got vaccinated. They're not vaccinated. I just want to know, is there something I should actually be worried about? What are you?
I don't think there's a lot to be worried about. I just think that it's kind of like people who actually got the C illness also were building up sometimes the antibodies that are anti-spike protein, anti-receptor binding domain. So everyone who was around the people who also had the C illness were also being exposed to some level of that as well. So the places like LA, Chicago, New York that have already gone through it, they kind of went through the collective trauma. They have over half of LA and these major cities have antibodies, and that's not including the people from the summer where they had 20 to 50% as well. So a lot of the major cities in the U.S. at least already have somewhat of a herd immunity likely, and they have T cells which last likely for years or decades. So I think you have to get out of the fear-based mindset, whether it's of the C illness or of the people who had the jab, because now over half of Americans have had the jab. So if they haven't already had the C illness, they're getting the jab. And the people who already had the C illness that get the jab are 3 times more likely to have symptoms, so they have even higher levels. So since so many people already had the C illness without even knowing it, and then you add the jab and they get even more antibodies, then there's even more of those secretory antibodies to spread potentially. So I think it's kind of if your town hasn't been through it and now you're all getting the jab and you didn't have the herd immunity, you're basically experiencing that the interaction with people who either had the C illness or people who had the jab. So there's no reason to be more scared of this than there is of the C illness itself, because basically people are getting like little doses of C illness or the antibodies against the C illness on a regular basis now. So we don't have to avoid it. We just have to learn how to adapt. So rather than live in like fear and avoidance, we have to learn how to accept the risk, get ourselves healthy enough, and move on. So one of my videos has like a protection exercise where I say like fill yourself up with white light or sunshine or the light of God or like whatever you feel like. And I had a couple people who were like, this is satanic, this is evil. White light is Lucifer. Obviously Lucifer means light. So like whatever you believe in or don't, if you want it, go for it. If you don't like it, don't watch it or don't use it. I'm not like forcing people to do it, but whatever you want to meditate on or pray or whatever like energetic practice your church or your people believe in, go for that. My pastor does this all the time, so our church is cool with it, but other churches are not so cool with it. Like anything that's basically visualization is sometimes considered satanic, so you have to be careful with your church, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, end of the day, you're building up cortisol, your stress, and regardless of what direction it's coming from. So what's the difference with what we're seeing now with the jab compared to other vaccines in general? And why with this, with other
I was cutting out a little bit. Do you say what's the difference between this and other old jabs? I think the difference is that this one, well, all of them are basically either mRNA or DNA for this illness, and we have no idea whether that sheds or the antibodies could be passed on through the saliva. We have absolutely no idea what's happening, whereas before we have good research showing that old jabs that have either the live or inactivated virus will shed some of those live attenuated or inactive viruses to other people or through like aerosolized or through the skin. So we have good data on stuff because science takes a lot of time to prove anything. But we basically know that the ones in the past will shed. And since it's brand new technology, we really don't. It's not like brand new. People are like, it's not brand new. Well, it's like been around for 20 or 30 years, but it's never in animal trials. It almost always caused the animals to have major side effects or die or like have conditions that would kill them. So it didn't really get used in mass human trials. And now that it's being used in mass human trials, it's we don't really know because it's like the first time it's ever been used in this quantity in people.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm going to take a look at some of the questions that have come through. A lot of them are the same questions about if it's going to affect people that are pregnant. Does it have anything to do? Is there any difference? Why do you think it's affecting menstrual cycles? Why do you think that that's something that we're seeing more? Why female reproductive organs and behaviors?
Well, one of the ways it can happen is that the C illness and the antibodies that the jabs create react to 20 to 30 different tissues that Dr. Ttyl talks about. So one of those is the reproductive system. So it could be that. It also could be the ingredients, the polysorbate 80 in the one-shot AstraZeneca Johnson & Johnson, and the PEG, which likely contains EO, which likely breaks down into HEMA, which is extremely carcinogenic and a reproductive fetal toxin, could be affecting the reproductive organs of those who have the jab. And so I think it's possible that some of the inactive ingredients could be doing it, and it could also be the actual antibodies that are getting created themselves.
Yeah, I'm starting to see more things related to kids having reactions, being around adults who've been recently vaccinated, getting sick and things like that. But also we're starting to get some feedback from men who are actually seeing issues in their testicles with it as well. So do you think that it's just in the reproductive organs are going to be the first to show signs of issues that are outside just having standard illness?
Yeah, I would say it's probably the first one that would show signs of it. Basically, people don't notice much about their bodies unless it's like messing with their sensory organs, like their smell or their taste, or their vision or their sense of touch, or their periods. Like men don't get periods where they bleed, so they don't usually notice it unless like their penis hurts or their testicles start shrinking, or like they get weird pains. So unless there's like a pain or a sensory organ that's affected, most people have no idea.
Yeah.
And women just are able to notice it more than men, but there's no reason why it wouldn't be affecting men as much as women.
Do you think that that means that there's going to be some fertility issues in our future?
Well, there already is a major fertility crisis. Like 20-30% of people can't get pregnant within the first year of trying, and now they're estimated in the next 20 years to go up to 45 or 50%. And the testosterone levels are really dropping rapidly in men. So there's lots of issues out there already. And I think they're only going to get worse. And it's not necessarily just this one that's creating the problem. It's the thousands of new chemicals released every year where there's no long-term safety data. The umbilical cords of our grandparents had 5 or 6 or 10, 12 different chemicals. Now every woman has thousands of chemicals in their umbilical cord that you can't fully get out of your body. So we're already passing on this generationally. And there was a medication for, I can't remember, it was like heartburn or something kind of benign. And they found that the medication was fine, but the generation after the medication was having fertility issues. So like it might not affect us, but our kids could have the effect on them. So it could be like 40, 50 years, 30 years, 20 years before we have any idea what this is doing. And we're going to have so many jabs now. It could be this one, it could be the next one, it could be like, it's hard to narrow it down until millions of people have done it, and it's been a few decades. Like I said, logic is fast, science is slow. Like you have to go with logic and try to, even if you took the jab, it's like you got to learn to protect your immune system and build your health up so that you might not need future ones, because the more toxicity you put in, generally the worse you do. And the biggest lie in healthcare is just because you feel fine means you're healthy, because most people get cancer and heart disease and it just pops out of nowhere because they're not noticing all the problems before it explodes.
Yeah. Okay, so the other question that keeps getting asked is, should people be weary of being around those who have been recently vaccinated, especially if they're maybe on the dating scene or if their sexual partners are vaccinated recently? Is that going to put them at a higher risk of having issues if they're literally swapping spit?
Potentially. But again, like I think being around someone who also had the C illness would be similar to being around someone who had the jab. So like I would use that as a general reminder. So, and we don't know how long this lasts. I think in past jabs, shedding might last for like a week or two. So if you want to be careful, maybe wait a week or two, but it could last days, it could last weeks or months, but likely it's a few days to a week or two.
Okay, so the last question that I have for you is, what do we do with all this information that we're getting now? Obviously, all we're seeing is a lot of stories. There's not a whole lot of science to really dive into this from here. So what do we do as we continue to discover new phenomenons happening?
What do we do? Keep watching our channel. I don't know. We'll keep giving you ways to help yourself as it comes up. Last time I made it to 40,000 people in 3 months, and then I got deleted, and I'm almost at 40 in like a week, which is crazy because people want this information. They want action steps for how to feel empowered and do something about it. And I'm not doing this to make money or fame. I literally just like feel courageous enough to be one of the few to talk about it.
Yeah.
And spent over $200,000 in the last year and a half on our nonprofit to like get it going. And so I don't really care about the money. My videographer makes more than I do. It's trying to help the planet do better. And I'll continue to be around. I'm sure you and other channels that we follow, that we tell you to go follow, will continue to be around. So no one's going to stop. It just might get off of social media. And unfortunately, everyone's on social media. They're used to it, but they're going to have to start getting used to independent websites and channels and looking up NVIC and ICAN and the Highwire and looking up Health Freedom for Humanity and Freedom Keepers United. And they're going to have to look up all those sources on their own on like a weekly or monthly basis when they're wanting real answers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that's kind of what we're here for, is to try to facilitate these conversations so as many people as possible can hear them, because not everybody's always talking about what's going on with their period. But if something's not right and they hear that it's happening to other people, then maybe they'll join the conversation and start paying attention. Well, thank you so much for jumping on this. I'm definitely going to point people to your videos and your site. Keep it up, and thank you so much. We'll be talking soon.
You too. Thanks, Tiffany.
Right.
Everybody, love y'all.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, guys. Tiffany here. I know I owe you the recording from the conversation last night. I just wanted to really let you know how I felt about it before publishing it. This is my perspective, not ma'am's or anybody's.
That's probably not true. They're going to be coming through the goddamn window. That's exactly what that dream showed me. Now, the vaccines, I've noticed that a lot of people are older. The older crowd is really into and pushing the agenda, of these damn vaccines. Now, they show people getting shot on TV, on videos. They show kids getting stabbed. They show kids getting raped, killed, beat. They show all of this on the news. They show all of this. Even if it's not on the news, it's on the internet. It's on social media. But they don't have no video about what the hell vaccine, what they put in that goddamn vaccine. We don't have no video about the science lab. We don't have no video of nothing that they did. That's what I want to see. I want to see all of the ingredients that you put into this vaccine. I want to actually see this. I don't want them to keep trying to push out information to us that they know in these big ass words that we have no idea what they are, but they expect for every person to take the same shot. What they ain't telling people is that people are dying from this shot. There are some people that I know personally that took the damn shot and they end up getting the goddamn corona. Like, what was the point of taking it? And if you're going to be taking a vaccine for this old C-hole, then why we ain't taking fucking vaccines for HIV, for AIDS, because that's a whole epidemic, for high blood pressure, for heart disease. Like, those things still exist, but they have pushed all of that to the side, and the only thing that matters is this stupid ass COVID vaccine. The country is already open back up. If you haven't they not giving us no information. So is it only outside where we have 100 masks outside? Bitch, is it in the house? Bitch, is it in the air? Is it in the water? Like, tell us something else other than.
All right, so that concludes part 2 of this episode. Once again, I hope this podcast did not offend anybody. That was not the intention. It was to just bring new information to the forefront, and maybe you haven't heard about it. And whether you choose to get vaccinated or not, it is your personal preference. Everybody is 100% unique, and we have different health issues, and therefore we have to make different decisions for ourselves. Again, I am just a sharer. This is not on Channel 4 News, honey, and I just it just was laid upon my heart to share. And what I wanted to say is, nobody that you meet on accident. Nothing in life is a coincidence. So a lot of my friends I've had from elementary, I really don't meet new people. And through the people that I know, I essentially meet new people. So perhaps I was led into your life or to your circle or to your group for this particular reason, to share things with you that you will never want to research or read. Just think about it that way. Like, okay, because I look at people like that too. Like, I never would have looked into that, or I never would think like that, or I never would feel like that. Okay, so you were brought into my life path to teach this to me, because I damn sure wasn't going to pick it up on my own. So thank you. You know what I mean? So I'm just your little hippy dippy fairy, whatever. I definitely feel like I'm not from this planet, but nothing happens by happenstance. So this particular podcast is going to reach whoever it's supposed to reach, and it's going to touch whoever it's supposed to touch. And that's all my part was in this journey. Wasn't to make you think, feel, do, not that. That is 100% on you. But to just whisper it in your ear, or to just bring it into your attention, or just put it on your plate. What you do with it from there is completely up to you. So thank you so much for listening. There's so many podcasts in the world, and you clicked on my little podcast, and I appreciate each and every click, each and every listen. This is just something that I do for free from my heart, and I really, really love and enjoy it. They say find a way to make money. I got that. Find a way to stay healthy. I do work out and yoga and stuff. And then find something that brings you joy. And this is definitely one of them. So I can't wait to see where the future will take me with the podcast, but I will continue to share because there's so much more to learn. Y'all wait till I tell y'all about the Anunnaki. That is most definitely coming, and I'm still filtering through my chakras, so we haven't concluded that. My hair is like jaguar blue right now, and I am working on, it's supposed to be the throat chakra. I mixed up my colors, but we're going to use this color for third eye because I already used the dark blue for the throat chakra, so that was my little mistake. But my last color is going to be orange. And so I've been looking at, I already, you know how funny the universe is. I saw one of the guys that I follow, he had on this very pretty orange wig. And I said, oh my God, that's my next color, orange for my chakra. So I can't wait to go to the hair store this weekend and pick up my, well, maybe not this weekend. My nails still fresh too. Maybe next week, because I usually do my hair and my nails at the same time, to pick up my orange wig and do my nails. And you know what I've learned? Chakras are going to be very important for healing in my life. And I'm learning a lot through the Wicca path too. And one thing I like about Wicca is a la carte. It's like Olive Garden. Whatever you put in your Wicca basket, that's what it is. Most religions, whatever's in the cart is whatever's in the cart, and don't look at nothing else. Like, I'm such a free spirit. This path works for me. And names are just names. Whatever name you want to put on it. We all are spiritual light beings. At the end of the day, that's what it is. To feed your light body spirit so that you can go back to Creator. Staying in low density is dark energy, no light, and you're not going to be able to get where you need to be like that. So that's all this existence is. We are literally light put into a human body. That's what your spirit is. When you look at all the TV shows and you see spirit, what is it? A bright light. Oh my gosh, a bright light. So when are we going to figure out you are the stars and the planets that you see? You are this gassy light being. You know what I mean? But you're having a human experience. So sometimes I do get down and out with this life experience, but I have to remember, hey, I'm going to get through this. There's a lesson here. And, this is just a phase. This is just a chapter. And I have so much more to live for. So, everybody's journey, everybody goes through something so that they can conquer it and help someone else. It's like your Achilles, your arch enemy, or your Achilles or your nemesis. So whatever that difficulty is in your life, your goal is to triumph and then reach back and help other people triumph. And so I got it. And so life is just so much more amazing and different now because I got it. It's so hard when you don't have it. But once you have it, it's like, okay, like I know where I'm going. Just imagine driving and not knowing where you're going. It's so frustrating. Like when Alexa be telling me reroute. Oh my God. Sometimes I hate driving because I don't know where I'm going. But if I already know where I'm going, I'm at ease. I'm going to go right. I'm going to go left. Do. I can eat. I can drive. I can turn the music up. I can dance because I know where I'm going. So that probably was something for someone else too. But again, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And if no one told you today, I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, y'all. Thanks a billion for listening. You can reach me on other social media platforms at www.linktr.ee/LUV.MEESH. I hope you have a better than great day. Love ya. Talk to you later. Mwah. Bye. Go meet me. It's the MEESH Podcast. Hey, go meet me. Go meet me.